I told my friend Koni that I was finally gonna make her recipe for that famous Cook Island pink potato salad, and I asked if she had any advice for me. Her only tip was make sure to use agria potatoes. So I went to look for agria potatoes, and which ones are agria? A quick Google search told me that agria potatoes have yellow flesh, so we're just gonna go with the yellow potatoes. This might have been my first mistake in this cooking adventure that didn't go so well. Let's count how many other ways I did this recipe wrong. But first, in case you didn't know, the dish I'm attempting here is called mainaice, or mainaice. Mainaice? Do you know we actually ran a poll on our website a few years ago to find out what the correct pronunciation of this name is, but nobody could agree. In fact, they were getting a little bit angry in the comments, so we were like, we'll just call this the pink potato salad from the Cook Islands for now. This salad is pretty simple to put together, except in this recipe, Koni's recipe, the mayonnaise is homemade, which requires a little bit of expertise that you will find out soon I don't have. Anyway, the first step is to scrub the potatoes good and then boil them whole in their skins. While the potatoes are cooking is a good time to boil up the eggs and get the mixed vegetables heated as well. Now, about this secret sauce. I start with 5 egg yolks, 1 whole egg with a bit of salt, and then mix up before I add some Dijon mustard. Next time I do this, I'll definitely add another tablespoon or so of Dijon because I feel like it really makes the flavor of this mayonnaise, at least for me. And that's the beauty of cooking, yeah? Koni even says it in her recipe that as you're mixing up the dressing, you should be tasting and adjusting the ingredients until it meets your own taste. And as long as other people don't hate your taste. I mean, it's a nice feeling serving up a dish knowing that you've added your own personal touch to the recipe. And here I am adjusting with the salt and the white vinegar because I didn't have any lemon juice at the time, and drizzling in more oil and mixing. Oh my gosh, so much mixing. It felt like
2 hours later.
Before I finally got a creamy consistency that still, it wasn't as fluffy as mayonnaise should be, but I chucked it in the fridge for a bit anyway, hoping it would thicken up in there. It didn't. Let's move on to assembling our salad. This is the easiest part. I just peeled the cooled potatoes, although Koni peels her potatoes while they're still quite warm. I wonder what kind of a difference that makes to the texture of this dish. Then we chop them up into bite-sized pieces, we chuck them all in a bowl with the mixed vegetables, and then we add the reason for the pinkness of this potato salad, a can of sliced beetroot, drained and then diced. Next, we grate in 3 of the hard-boiled eggs, which gets a little bit tricky when you get right down to that last bit of egg white, but how pretty is this? And then it's time to scoop in a good portion of that homemade mayonnaise, except mine was so freaking runny, I had to pour it in. Oh man. When you mix it up with the potatoes, that mayo dressing doesn't look so bad, but in Koni's version, the mayo is also supposed to sit on top of the final dish at the end, so you can imagine what's coming up next. But first, let's throw in my favorite part of this dish, the chow chow, which is a pickled relish that adds a bit more color and a lovely tanginess to this flavor profile. Alright, it's the moment of truth. Time to dish up and present our pink potato salad. Okay, let me just confess my sins now. While I was making this salad, I was actually running late for a thing that I had to go to that evening, so I clearly didn't spend enough time mixing up that mayo properly. And I know now, because I've actually made it again since, that I didn't use enough oil. Koni's recipe says to use a whole liter of oil, and I didn't believe her. But now I know. Because when the oil gets mixed up really well, given enough time, it emulsifies and thickens right up until it's as fluffy as the mayo that you get in a jar. And not this runny disaster that I'm trying to cover up with a little bit more grated hard-boiled egg. But you know what? It was still edible. I ate it because I don't believe in wasting food. And I learned me some valuable lessons. Next time I make Koni's version of this pink potato salad from the Cook Islands, it will be on point, I promise. And hey, you made it to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I am on a mission to make as many iconic dishes from the Pacific as I can, even if I have to learn some hard lessons along the way. If that sounds like something you could be into, please like and subscribe for more. See you next time.